Welcome back to Sincerely
Unique with your midweek tea.
Hello, happy Wednesday. We're not doing a wine Wednesday, but we are drinking. I see it seems to be a trend.
Yes, but before we get into that, I do want to do a disclaimer. Trigger warning. The following episode contains discussion of rape and sexual assault that some listeners may find disturbing and or may not be suitable for younger audience. Listener discretion is advised. I had to do it because I don't want people to.
Did you have to say it like that?
Yes.
Okay, guys.
It is a serious conversation.
Yes, another disclaimer. Disclaimer times 2. We might laugh, but honestly, it is probably just going to be a defense mechanism. So, for those of you listening, if you hear us laughing, it's not because it's funny.
I'm not laughing at the situation. I'm laughing with Bianca. So I'm not laughing at the situation, if you guys are wondering.
It's just such a weird topic to.
Yeah. So today's episode is going to get heavy. And I know last episode we did drop a bomb. And I'm sure some of our listeners are wondering what happened, and who better to share and tell their story than the beautiful, strong woman herself, who went through it. I will be interviewing Bianca today about her survivor. Can't even say her survivor story. I guess I say survivor story because she survived a traumatic event. But before we get into that, let's get into our deep brief of the week.
Deep brief of the week.
How are you doing mentally?
I need some fun in this episode.
Okay.
You know what? I'm doing good.
Okay.
I would say this morning I was jamming out to some 2007 to 2012 pop music.
Honestly, you're always listening like there's not.
I don't know why. It just like hypes me up. Like I'm like, I'm at work and I'm listening to Kesha, like
TikTok.
Who Are We? Yeah, like TikTok, or like Who Are We? Or like one that came up today was Cannibal.
Dude, I love Kesha. She is so freaking awesome. And she really made good music.
I know. And it brought back so many like memories. Like there was one song that it was like
oh, I know what you're talking about. Just dance.
There's no. This one's
okay.
Blah, 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 like talking all your blah blah blah.
Oh yeah, I don't know the name of that song, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So me and Mariah used to listen to that song all the time. And so like when I listened to it, I was like, oh my God, I miss like when we used to like drive around going to the mall or whatever, and we're listening to it. I'm just like,
I low-key, I mean, I love listening to the 2000 music, but it does bring back so much memory, and I just like get really sad. I'm just like, I'm getting old.
For real. So yeah, no, I was listening to it on the way to work and it was great. My mood was up. I was happy. And then it also had me thinking about how like this weekend I'm going to Idaho. I'm super excited to go snowboarding. I'm going to eat shit. It's fine, but
it's fine.
I'm excited about that. And then we're bringing Mason. So he's going to be with us.
Yeah. That is going to be so much fun. So you don't have to worry about other people watching him. And then you can just like, he's going to love it so much. And he loves the snow. So, oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm so happy for him. His little trip. Oh.
I'm excited.
I'm excited for you. I mean, me and Gonzo have been trying to like go snowboarding, but the way our schedule is looking like.
It's hard too, because we have to like rent out all the stuff. Like, thank goodness, Connor's teammate, his wife was giving away like her board. Like at first she let me use it when we went snowboarding last year, and then they ended up just giving it to us.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's a little too big for me, which is why I struggle a little bit with like snowboarding, but I feel like I could get into it. And then she gave me boots, which surprisingly fit.
Oh,
like, surprisingly, we are the same shoe
lucky.
Yeah. And so
how much do the equipment cost? Like Is it
Let's just say I'm
expensive?
trying to buy a helmet and it costs like $100.
Oh, okay, never mind.
So that's just the helmet. The board,
Yeah, I can only imagine what everything else like.
I can't remember how much because we rented boots last year for me
Mhm.
because we didn't have boots. I can't remember how much it cost, but then there's also like Connor just got us Epic passes, which you
Yeah.
can also utilize because you're military. Because they're like usually $1,000+ for like a whole
Yeah.
season, and for military it's like $200.
That is not bad at all.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, we've been wanting to go snowboarding, but then
There's the babies, like you don't know.
yeah, and they still don't. I mean, here in Colorado, you know, the elevation is like way too high for them. Is that how you say it? Am I correct? Okay. So yeah, we're just a little worried that it's a little too much for them at the moment. So we want to, I mean, we want to wait, but there's nothing wrong with waiting. I mean,
Yeah.
Well, that's good. I'm happy for you.
Me too. And then next weekend, it's gonna be a fun weekend too.
What are you doing?
Not sure yet, but I know it's gonna be fun.
Okay. Oh yeah, next weekend's gonna be so much fun.
I just know it's gonna be fun. Because I
Actually, I think next weekend, me and Thalia plan on going to like this silent disco thing on a Saturday. I think we're getting like a babysitter, so I'm like thinking, oh, that'd be exciting because I've been wanting to do that. So what?
nothing.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm pretty excited for that. I think that's the only thing I have going on in my life. Because okay,
Wait, this weekend or next weekend?
next weekend.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyways, I'm glad that you're doing mentally good. And I'm glad that you're going on a trip. Lucky you. While you're snowboarding, what are you doing? Are you not paying attention to me? You're being distracted here.
Checking the calendar. Okay, keep going. Go ahead.
You're scaring me. Every time. Well, like I said, lucky you. You're going on a trip. While you're snowboarding, I'll be home taking care of fucking kids.
Oh, but that's your life.
It's not a for sure thing though if I'm doing the whole disco thing, but I've been wanting to do it. So
what is it?
What do you mean?
Like, what do? You just go there and disco?
So it's actually really cool. So it's called the bar is called 𝗀𝗿𝗃, and it's actually like an indoor outdoor type of thing. So there's like vendors and like little pop-up shops and stuff. And then what they're doing, what a silent disco is, you pay $10 and they give you headphones and everyone's listening to the same music, and then you're just like chilling, like having drinks. I have never done that.
Does it cost money?
I mean, it's $10.
Oh, like a cover?
Yeah. And
Okay.
you know, you get to drink and stuff. I think it's only from 7 to 10. So it's not gonna be like a long night thing, but like we've been wanting to do it, and you know, it'll be fun, like just like jamming and drinking. But then I mean, like you're not really able to talk. You're just like with the headphones on.
Yeah, that's true.
But I mean, it'd be a nice experience. I'm sure you don't have to have the headphones on all night, but I'm pretty sure like you have the headphones on and it's all quiet. And then you just see people like jamming out. I don't know. I think it'll be a cool
I've seen TikToks. Of
yeah.
it.
So we're planning on doing that because Gonzo's leaving
Thursday.
Yeah, he's leaving Wednesday.
Oh, he's leaving Wednesday.
Yeah, so he's leaving Wednesday. And yeah.
And then Friday.
And then Friday and then Saturday.
Sunday and Monday.
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, back to but anyways, I'm glad you're doing mentally good. I'm glad you're going on vacation. I'm excited for you.
Going on vacation 2 times. I mean, 1 time. Yeah.
1 time?
Yeah, going to Idaho and then, you know.
No, I don't know. Where else are you going?
Going to Washington. No, I'm just talking about, you know,
you're going to your,
I'm talking about like the weekend being, you know, vacation, the weekend.
I mean, I go to the fucking store and it's a vacation, so I get you.
See? Now you know.
Okay. Anyways. Your turn to ask me how am I mentally. Hello. Do you not care about me?
I'm thrown off right now. Okay.
Why?
I don't know.
Snap out of it. Is it the topic? Is it the topic?
No. Okay. How are you doing? How was your week? How are you doing mentally?
Okay, I think I'm gonna cry. I'm just kidding. No. So if you guys follow me or don't, I'm actually taking a week off of social media.
Wait, when hold on. I didn't know about this.
I haven't been posting. I did not decide it until like Sunday. I was like, I'm just gonna give myself a break from social media. So I've been honestly have not been posting, but I'm just giving myself a break because I am mentally preparing myself for when Gonzo leaves. So I have so much stuff that I need to focus on. Why are you making those faces? I am so annoyed.
I can't.
Are you high?
No.
I was like, let me go get high real quick. Just kidding. So yeah, I'm mentally preparing myself for when Gonzo leaves, and I'm just like been getting so much anxiety, like just thinking that he's leaving.
It'll be fine. I will.
I know. Okay, but so
I will be here for you.
I know you will be here.
Yeah,
you better be here. I'm gonna be like, Bianca, I'm going crazy.
I'm gonna give you a hug.
Yeah, you said, an air hug.
No, like a real hug.
Oh, don't make me cry. We're not even into the topic yet. No, bitch. But seriously, so yeah, I've been getting like so much anxiety. I'm trying to like not think about it and just like, just go with the flow.
What makes you anxious about it? Because he's gone for like a month.
Just because the kids, like Mateo's at a point where he's just a little too much sometimes.
Like all over the place.
Yeah. And I get it. He's, he's taller. He's just like, he's just crazy. And then Liliana is getting at that same pace as Mateo. So now that I have two acting wild, it's just kind of like, I struggle with like finding peace with that. I'm just like, oh my gosh, it's a little too much for me. But not only that, but it's just what gives me so much anxiety is having to take care of the kids, try to build my business, and then trying to renovate the house is just like
too many things at once.
It seems like too many things. Like I feel like I don't have enough time. I don't have enough arms to do everything. Like, and that's what kind of worries me. I don't want to catch myself like drifting off and just not doing anything and not, literally doing nothing. And that's my biggest fear. My biggest fear is just like, just waiting for Gonzo to get back and just taking care of the kids because that's all I can do right now. I don't want to put my business and like, my dreams of renovating the house on the back burner just because Gonzo is gone. Like I want to be able to overcome that and actually do what I set my mind to do. But it's been hard looking at that. Like I can't really envision that right now. So yeah, it's a little scary, but I know I can do it. I know I just need to stay positive. I know I feel like fear is just kind of overcoming me and I just need to like just brush it off and just, keep doing what I'm doing. But yeah, that's the only thing like I'm really worried about. Also, we had a parents' night on Saturday.
Oh yeah.
Bianca was jealous.
I was because she said that they were her favorite couple.
Oh my god.
And I was like, excuse me, what am I? Chopped liver?
Chopped liver? I can have two favorite couples, okay?
No, you can't. You can only have one.
I am so sorry, Bianca.
Now you're gonna change plans and hang out with your friend next weekend?
Change plans? Did I already have? Unless you were coming, then I'd be like, I would invite you. Be like, we're going now.
You would invite me. I would just be the third wheel. It's fine.
Come on now. Are you ever the third wheel?
I'm the third wheel. It's fine.
Are you ever the third wheel? Come on now.
Yeah, I am.
I think you're a little dramatic. Are you gonna start your period?
You know, but also you can't be hungover because we're filming it. He's yelling at Mason. We're filming an episode.
Yeah, I know.
On Sunday.
Don't worry. I'm not. And then I'm so hungover. I'm kidding. Okay. And then, oh yeah, so we had a parents' night. Thank God it was successful. Nothing bad happened. We danced, we drank. It was a good time, honestly.
I'm not gonna lie, I did think that your parents' night was a teacher conference with for some reason when you first said it. That's like I was gonna ask you, like, how's Noah doing in school? Like
you're so annoying. Oh gosh. How was your Valentine's Day? Wait, let me say that again. Valentine's. I was saying that word to one of my friends and he's all like, you're saying Valentine's. I was like, no, Valentine's. Am I saying it right?
yeah, I mean, yeah, Valentine's Day. Yeah, Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day. Now I feel like I have to watch myself because somebody corrected me. And
I mean, you still say world the same way.
Okay, can we just leave that out of the conversation? Why do you insist on bringing that up?
Rewind to episode 1.
Okay. So how was your Valentine's Day?
Like a normal day.
Yeah, I agree.
We don't celebrate Valentine's Day.
Of course you don't.
We celebrate it every day, so we don't need Valentine's Day.
I show my love every day to my significant other. Okay, we get it, Bianca. You're so cool.
No. Yeah, we don't usually celebrate. I don't ask for anything either. And I had told Connor that I don't need any flowers because we had 4 rose bushes, but now we only have 3. Actually, we only have 2. Because someone decided to pull it out of the ground. Maybe I should cut that out. Maybe I should be like, hey, you know how I said you don't have to buy me flowers for the next whole time that we live here? Yeah, I take that back because you took 1 bush out. I expect them on my birthday.
I better see a damn bush tomorrow. That is so funny. Yeah, honestly, we didn't do anything for Valentine's Day either. I mean, it's just nice spending time with your significant other on a special day. Like even though we spend time with each other, it's just nice, just a regular day, spending time with your significant other. I enjoyed myself. Yeah,
we didn't really do anything because then Connor left the next day. He left Tuesday and he got back today. Oh my gosh, Mason was so sad.
Oh, poor baby.
He knows.
Of course he was.
Because he left last week too, so he's been sad.
He's like, Dad, please don't do that ever again.
Don't leave again. You're gonna leave again for like months and months and months.
Well, don't leave me with her, please. Don't.
Seriously. It's crazy how much he like knows.
Yeah.
He's been packing and he's just like, that's it. My dad's leaving.
Mateo's the exact same way. Like when he sees his dad like puts his jacket on, he's like starts crying automatically. I'm like, can you not? I'm here still.
He's probably like, I'm tired of you.
I'm tired of you, Mom.
All day, every day.
I see you all day. I don't blame him. Like when I see him too, I'm like, fuck. Okay. All right. Yeah, so that was my week. Slowly taking it easy, but I will conquer while Gonzo's gone. I will. Wow.
You will. You'll be like, it'll be like this. It'll be like he leaves and it's gonna be like, wee, and then it's gonna go, whoa.
Aww.
And then it's gonna go, wee. It's gonna go, whoa. And then he's gonna be back.
So it's gonna be a roller coaster.
Yes.
Thank you for that demonstration. Wee. Okay, you guys. Now to get on the serious stuff. What are you gonna say?
I'm taking deep breaths.
Okay.
Oh.
Stress less. Yes.
I almost forgot.
No, get it together.
All right, card. We are trying really hard not to be talk off topic, but it's so hard.
I know. We just love talking.
I know.
I'm sure a lot of people can relate.
Yeah.
That was so quiet.
Was it?
Yeah.
The last time I did the shuffle.
I know you did really good. Yeah. I'm trying so hard not to laugh so much, but I'm such a giddy person. Like I laugh at anything. Like her shuffling cards, it's so funny.
All right. The card that we choose is one. Examine your surroundings.
Ooh, I love that.
Come to look at things with fresh eyes. A baby doesn't look at their surroundings as being good or bad. She looks upon her world, or she, as being interesting. Renew your thoughts again. Don't label what you see. Just take interest and find amazement. When there is nothing to categorize or label, you will feel free of prejudice and stress. You will feel peace and wonder.
Wow, I felt like that was for me with the kids, and they're like, if your kids can see the positive things, you should too, Monique.
Yeah, I like that card.
I like that card. I guess I'm taking that with me for next week. I'm taking it in a bag. Yeah. Okay, so let's get into our topic.
Here we go.
So let's get into when I first heard this story. I just want everyone to know that I first heard this story actually when we finished our yoga session. Remember at the park near the lake?
Well, no, we talked about it there, but it was at Austin and Maddie's house. And we were going out to dinner for our birthdays.
No, it was at the lake.
What's his name was there and he read my story too.
Well, yeah, but you already had posted it.
Or did we hang out like?
Yeah, we that same day we hung out, we did yoga, and then we went back to Maddie's.
Yeah.
We drank, and then we went out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we talked about it at the park.
Yep.
I was a little thrown back when you told me.
I don't remember how I told you. Sometimes it just comes out and like I don't realize it until like it happens.
So we were actually talking about abortion, and that's how it came out. And that's why you wrote your blog post too. But if you guys have not read her blog or haven't heard the story, she's here to share it with you.
Like it's gone, so you can't see it anymore.
Yeah, it's gone. So don't even try looking for it. But that's why you guys have us to go ahead and share this story. And she will do that right now.
All right. So yeah, as Monique mentioned, it was mainly the topic was like about abortion. So like around the time in 2019, everything was going on about like abortion and like politics, and how like you shouldn't abort your baby and all of this. So I wanted to share like a little bit of my story to kind of bring light to the situation. Because it's not like, I mean, I feel like every female should do whatever she wants with her body.
Yeah.
I don't think that people should decide what to do with that. And mostly because of my situation that I was in. So I don't normally talk about politics or anything of that sort. I hate watching the news. I will ignore it if it's on. I don't listen to it. I don't read into it. Nothing. I absolutely hate it.
Yeah, I agree.
But, yeah, like I just don't care. I don't know. I'm just living free. And
it's not that you don't care. You hear what other people have to say. Like you see both views, but you know you're free. You have your own opinion, and like you shouldn't have to decide what you like and don't like. Like I mean you can, but you shouldn't have to choose a side is what I'm saying.
Yeah, you should. And there's like, and sometimes people sometimes people are just in the middle. They agree with like the left side, they agree with the right side, and they just, and that's just how it is. So anyways, I wanted to voice my story because, I just want others to understand that it's like about how we feel as women, like with our bodies.
Yeah.
So I was about 10 years old when I was raped by my mother's boyfriend. And I don't blame my mom at all for bringing this person into the home. Like, she didn't know. I mean, how would she know, you know? He was just
Before you get into it, how long were they together?
I was 3 or 4. My dad has not been in the picture, like, practically at all. So I think I was about 3 or 4. My brother's 3 years younger than me, and he was a little baby. So I want to say 3 or 4.
Okay.
I don't really remember like the time frame as far as like my 3rd birthday to my 4th birthday or anything like that. But I was young.
Okay.
And so yeah, I don't blame her at all. She didn't know. Like, he clearly hid it from her and from his family members. And so that's just, you know, I can't speak for her or anything like that, but that's just, I just want to like put that out there that I don't blame my mom. And so anyways, so like as a 10-year-old, you're stepping into the world. Maybe you're feeling like an adult because you hit your 2 digits. Maybe you're starting your period, or like becoming a woman, you know, that whole thing. And you're still learning about yourself and growing. And so going back to psychology, there's the Erikson's stages of development. And I can go more into that in a later conversation, but this isn't a psychology podcast episode. But so at the age of between 18 to 35, you're trying to seek love and like intimacy. And so towards the end of like during that whole period, like that was just like I was just trying to seek something, you know. And so never in a million years did I think that I would even talk about this, even on the podcast, like even filming right now. I'm just like, like you can tell I'm like kind of nervous about it, but
we don't have to talk about it, but this is a safe place, and you know.
So I did share about it on my blog. I feel like I feel more comfortable like posting about it like via like typing into a blog post rather than talking about it. But so I never thought that I would talk about it, but I just feel like I had to voice my situation and all that. So this definitely played a huge part in my childhood, and where I like to share details and situations, bad situations, good situations with my life. Like on my blog, I felt like it was needed. And I feel like I still kind of talk about it. I feel like I don't really talk about it as much, like on social media. I feel like I'm not as open anymore.
I mean,
so but at the time I definitely wanted to talk about it. So let me just okay, so I am from a small town in New Hampshire, and I'm very grateful for that small town. Like everybody knew about it. You know, you live in a small town, everybody knows everything. And as soon as it hit in the 6th grade, everyone knew about it. And it was written in the paper, but like obviously my name wasn't in there because I was young. So 6th grade. I think it came out. How old are you in 6th grade? 12? I think you're 12.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I think you're 12. And so obviously like my name wasn't written in there, but his name was, and everyone knew of him, because during that time in middle school to high school, we had this, like on Saturdays we had roller skating is what we called it. And so we had the high school gym would be like little kids could go roller skate from this time to this time, and then you had like the high schoolers come in and like the lights got to be turned off and everything like that, and you got to roller skate from like this time to this time. And so he would play music at roller skating, and so everyone knew about him. Like everyone knew like he was my stepdad. Everyone, like they just knew. So like the second that they see it in the paper, they just automatically know it's me.
just because, it's stepdad, and just the way that it was like, I don't know, I'd have to like look it up on Google to see the article, but I'm sure it said something along the lines of like, oh, stepdad something, whatever. So it just was pretty obvious that it was about me. And then but I never felt like I was bullied or anything was like directly like anybody was talking about me or anything like in school. Like I didn't feel that way unless I just blocked it out. But I honestly don't think that I was. I could be wrong. But
for our listeners, are you comfortable letting us know what exactly happened in that day, or is that a little too much for you to handle?
Like it happened more than once. It wasn't just like a one-time thing.
Yeah, but are you comfortable saying like one? You don't have to. It's just a question.
No.
You're more than happy to, you make a choice if you want to or not.
No, I don't know. I'm not really like, no, I don't know.
Okay. Yeah. It's fine. Okay.
So yeah, like I mentioned, it happened more than once. So the first time I would say it happened, I was probably like 10, and then it continued on until I got into, so when it happened, I had talked about it with my friends in the 4th grade. I remember vividly, like we were sitting at the table and I would like tell them what happened and what we did and everything like that. And then that was kind of the last that I could remember talking about it with friends. And then the 6th grade happened. And that's when the school got involved and they pulled me into the guidance office and they were like, what's going on? Like, we're hearing these things. And so I denied the whole entire thing. And I was like, nothing's going on. Like, nothing's happened, because I was told, don't say anything. Like, don't tell anybody.
Did he make any threats to you and your family?
Mm-mm.
No.
I
Okay.
just said, don't say anything. And so growing up, when if somebody tells me not to say anything, like, you listen to your adult, you listen to your person, and so, you think of, and I thought of him as my stepdad. So I was like, oh, my stepdad's just telling me not to say anything. So I never said anything to the guidance counselor. And then finally, like, she kind of pushed it out of me. So I was sitting in the office with her and she's talking to me about it, like asking me questions about it. And I denied the whole thing. And then all of a sudden, like, because she kept not like repeating the same question, but essentially like making her way around to ask the same question, like in a different way. And so I was crying about it. And like, I told her what happened and everything like that. And then she had obviously called my mom. And that day my mom went to the guidance counselor and talked to her. And I remember my mom coming home that day and she went into the bathroom and just like locked herself in there, was crying her eyes out, like did not come out for a long time. And I remember my stepdad was like, why is your mom crying right now? And I was like, I don't know. Like, why are you, like, I don't know. And so now thinking back, when he asked me like, why is she crying right now? It was almost like he knew that I said something and that he knew he was in trouble. So then what happened was that my mom told him.
Really quick. Sorry. Was he ever aggressive or physically, did he physically hurt you? No. Okay.
Yeah.
And he was never physical with your mom, like abusive or anything? Okay.
Yeah. Because my dad was.
Okay.
And so I think he might have known about that because they all used to work together. Like my dad, my mom, and then him. And so anyways, that day she was crying. And then when she got out, she told him to leave. And so he went to his parents' house. And then my mom asked me like what happened. And I told her. And then that next day the police came by. I had to go to my grandparents' house and the police came by to like search the home, for evidence. So like searched my bedroom, like searched everywhere in the whole entire house. Like I felt so violated in that aspect because like you're a little teenage kid like in your bedroom, like you like there's just you have posters of like celebrities on your freaking wall.
Yeah.
So yeah, so they were like searching through everything, and I remember coming home and being like, what the fuck, like all my shit's like all over the place. So that happened. But the next day, so also what happened the next day was that he knew he was in trouble. He was at his parents' house and he drove his truck into a ditch and had a picture of the four of us, was holding it, and shot himself from like down by your chin, and like shot and survived.
What?
Yeah, so that was all in the paper. Obviously,
That
like
is intense.
So that happened, and then he obviously had to go to the hospital. And then when he was at the hospital, like he couldn't go anywhere because obviously you just shot yourself. Like, so then the police came by and talked to him. And I don't remember. I have read the paper like since then because I've like Googled it, but I pretty sure there's one article out there where he had said that he would do it again. Yeah. Wow. And I was like, so like my whole life I've been like scared. And we stayed in that same house for like many, many years.
So did he get arrested after he was cleared from the hospital?
Yeah, so he did get arrested and like had to go to court and everything like that. And then I had to, because I was a minor, so I had to go to the police station and like make a report. And so it was literally like they were like recording me. They like recorded me, and then they voiced like video or audio recorded me too. And I was like looking back on it, I was like, oh, they have this video of me as a child, like talking about everything that happened. And then I also had to go to the hospital to get examined. And so I had my first pap smear done at freaking age 12, which is why I am terrified of pap smears.
Is that one of your triggers?
Yeah, like when I'm at the hospital, like, or if when I'm at the doctor's and I have to get a checkup done, like I'm technically due for one right now, and I'm like, don't want to go.
Yeah.
But there was one doctor, actually on an army doctor, in Fort Bragg, that I had gotten my pap smear done, and she was really nice. And I told her that I like don't like them. And I told her that it's uncomfortable for me. I didn't tell her why or anything, just because the story is already like, it's already been done. I don't feel the need to say like, I'm triggered because this happened to me. And at the age of 12, I had my first pap smear done and I don't like it.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't going to say that, but I end up like texting Mariah like every single time I get one done, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm getting one done, like I'm scared, I'm nervous. But the doctor that I had recently, she was really nice about it and was like super gentle, and it was like such a good experience. And then when I had to get a new doctor, I was like,
they were just like, get it over with, stop being a baby, not knowing the situation.
Because that's what happened when I first got on birth control. Because when you first get on birth control, they have to do a pap smear. And so I was like, I had my mom there with me because obviously I was like 17 when I was going on birth control. And so she was there, and my mom was like, do you want me to be in there? And I was like, totally fine, like whatever, I don't care. Until she was in there, and I was like, I just don't know, like really awkward, and I don't know. I didn't like the experience, and I didn't like the doctor, which could potentially make the situation better or worse.
Yeah.
If you like the doctor. So that happened. And then my grandfather and my mom were like, you have to go to a therapist. And I was like, I don't want to go. And so I went, and they like, when you go to a therapist, they ask, like, they check your memory to see how like you can remember things. And so they asked me like three questions, and then they gave me a little bit of time, and they're like, what are these 3 questions that I asked you? Or what are these 3 things that I asked you about? And so I still remember them to this day, which is freaking weird. But like, it was like chair, dog, and pen. And like, she was like, why did you remember all of those items? And so I was like, well, I have a dog. It's like, that's how I remember the dog. Well, my grandparents do. And then the chair, you're sitting in a chair and you're using a pen. Like, I was like, that's literally how I remember things, is like I see things and then I just remember them. So after that, I was like, I told my mom and my grandfather, I was like, I don't want to go again. And so they're like, okay, you don't have to go. And so I didn't go. So it's like the only one and only time that I've been was like that.
Wow. And so these are just questions I have for you, but I mean, you can continue going on. But so when he was raping you, did he make you feel like that was okay? That's what's supposed to happen between you and him?
Yeah.
And okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So I feel like the dynamic in that household was like, DJ was mommy's boy and I was my stepdad's like girl, like daddy's girl. So like my brother and my mom would always like cuddle on the couch and like, you know, watch a movie or whatever. And then it was like, I kind of like did my own thing. But then like our time was like when my mom wasn't home or like late at night and then like in my bedroom. So it was kind of like, oh, okay, like, yeah, we don't do this. Like we don't cuddle on the couch or whatever, like now, even though my mom and my brother are, but like, that's not
different.
So it was like weird.
And when you finally realize how big of the big deal it was, how did it make you feel? Did it tear you? Did it like what feelings were you going through knowing what he did was wrong? Because your mindset was, oh, this is what we're supposed to do. And knowing how everyone was reacting, you're like, oh shit, I guess this isn't what he was supposed to be doing.
I would say that I still haven't processed it. I would say that by me telling my story on my blog was like opening the door to realizing that it was bad. Just because when that whole thing happened, when I had to go stay at my grandparents' house for a little bit and the police were at my house and like that whole thing with him shooting himself and going to the hospital and then me being like, what the hell, like I just broke up our family, whole thing was, I felt like my grandfather like tried to shelter me a little bit there because I want to say for like 2 weeks I didn't go to school. Like I did schoolwork at my grandfather's house, like he watched me and like I don't know, it's like such a blur right now that but like I just feel like he didn't, like I wasn't able to like process it all because he was there.
There was just so much going on.
Yeah. And so, and like I just thought like, oh, I'm just not going to school today. Like I'm just going to do my schoolwork at my grandparents' house. Like cool.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like I didn't process it. And then like I think that they were trying to help me because I wasn't in school for like 2 weeks, that it was like I kind of missed out on like hearing everybody talk about me. So I don't know, like I forgot what the initial question that you asked was.
I guess the feeling like knowing it wasn't right, that you weren't able to process it, and then
so I just I just feel like I wasn't able to process it. And then like by me not going to the therapist, like me saying like I can handle this on my own kind of didn't help as much
as you would think, you know.
Because if you were to go to the therapist, you would talk about it and like go through the motions of it. But I was like, I don't need it.
You don't think you got anything out of therapy?
Yeah. Well, like the first initial day is kind of like getting to know the person and like, you know, trying to figure out everything, trying to figure out the person and how like, and I was a young kid, so they probably are like, she's just making up stuff or, you know, all that stuff. So
did you ever feel like anyone was putting the blame on you?
I feel like I don't feel that way per se, just because like I was a child, like I didn't know right from wrong, or like, am I supposed to do this? Am I not supposed to do this? Like, I don't know. I don't think that I think that I put the blame on myself, because then I felt like for a little bit there, like as I continued to like grow older, that I felt like I was the one that broke up my family, and like why my mom is the way that she is, or like why she's so quiet, and why she doesn't like talking or going out, or like living her life from like when I was a young girl to, and then I feel like also the other thing was that for the longest time, my mom would always text me or call me or tell me to talk to my brother because he's doing XYZ and it's not right and he needs to know it. And it's so like, then I felt like I had to be like his mom, and be like, hey, what are you doing? And like, how you have that relationship with your siblings, like that's closer than what you would have with your parent. Like you're going to tell your siblings more secrets than you would like your parent. So it was just like, I just felt like I was like, hey, like, I know, you're going through this or whatever, but like, you need to be nice to mom. Kind of thing. And then the other thing was like, I didn't put into account, because when you're young, you think about yourself. So you don't think about others at all. Like, and unless you're very, very intelligent and you do think about others. But so I didn't think about like how my brother would go through this, like he's going through it too. So I didn't think of like him and how he was feeling, and I didn't think about my mom or like how she was going through it, like all the things that I like had put her through, like with high school, and like normal high school things that you would do, like sneaking out of the house, sleeping at your boyfriend's house, like all normal things, like nothing was ever bad, like in a sense, like doing drugs or whatever, but I like didn't think about how my mom would feel during those times. Like I was just like, man, I'm just gonna do my own thing, like whatever, I don't fucking care, and then there's my brother too. Like I don't know, like with the things that he did, if he was just acting out because he was being a child, acting out, teenager acting out, or if he was truly hurt by like what was going on. So it's
hard to like think about others knowing what you experience. You don't mean to be selfish. You just, you're going, you don't even think you're going through so much, but you clearly went through something, and it's hard to like think about what others are possibly going through or how they're feeling about the situation. So that is crazy. Did your mom, like, does your mom ever like talk about it anymore? She just puts it way back in the past, like.
I know that she did blame herself.
Yeah.
Like I know that's how she felt. Like she was like, I brought this person into my house, and he was in our house for like many, many years. Like they were, because how back in the day we had I know in New Hampshire, I don't know about Texas, but you have like the common law where if you've been with somebody for X amount of years, like you're practically married.
I think it's 3 or 5 years.
Like that's like the same thing. Like in New Hampshire, that's how it was. Like it's not anymore. I don't think we have that law anymore. But so they were practically married because they were with each other for so long. So it was just kind of like she was just thinking like this happened for so many years.
And your mom never remarried? Or
She did. She just recently did.
Oh, really? Well,
she just got married this summer at my grandparents' house.
We hardly talk about our parents, honestly.
I know. I'm actually shocked, but so now it's gonna go a little off topic, but when my grandmother was in the hospital, she thought she was gonna die. She had told my mom, like, I want to make sure that you're married. I want to like make sure that you are like gonna be okay without me here, all that like mom daughter stuff. And so then my mom was like, well, I'm not getting married until Bianca gets married. Lo and behold, I was already married. She didn't know. And so
I know, right?
And so then I finally, like, I wanted to tell her then, but it just wasn't the right time. So I ended up telling her this past time that I went home. So before I moved to Washington, I told her. And then so that was her okay that she could get married.
Well, that's good. Congratulations. I'm happy that she's found someone and she's happy with. I guess my question to you is, how has this experience impacted you?
Like now, in the future, in the present?
Yeah.
I would say I don't like it.
What is it that you don't like? Like I
would say
kind of
that,
want to.
I feel like I was not able to experience things with people, or maybe even Connor at that point, without having moments of feeling like what I'm doing isn't how do I say this? Like if he was to want to do anal, right? And I have to like literally process. I have to like process or be like drinking. Because I just don't, it's not that I remember everything that happened when I was younger. It's not that. I think it's more, it's not mentally. So mentally, I am here. I know what's going on. It's like physically.
Yeah.
Like physically, I just can't like loosen up and be like okay with it, I guess.
Yeah.
But mentally, like I'm here, I'm fine. Like I know what's going on. It's not like I'm like emotional about it. I think the only time that I was emotional about it was when it accidentally happened with me and my ex-boyfriend, where like the whole like slipping from like one to the other,
which we talked about last episode.
Yeah,
that's where the bomb
that's
dropped.
where it all started.
Yeah,
but that one was definitely emotional because that was like the first time outside of what happened.
And that ended up with you crying. And
so I was
it like full of emotion, like just trauma, triggering?
Like I was just like, I cried and I like, it was just so awkward, and he was like, what the fuck is going on? And I was like,
you think
it's not something that you talk about with people.
Oh yeah.
Like, and so like when it happens, it's like, oh shit, now I have to say something. Like now I have to tell you. Yeah,
when you told me, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna mention the another thing was that with my ex, like we went to a party and it was like people that he went to high school with, and one of the someone was there that I knew, and it was actually my mom's, or my stepdad, I guess is what I'll call him. My stepdad, his nephew was there. And so that was a trigger.
Oh.
Because I hadn't seen him since I was little, because we were all family. And so that was awkward. Thankfully, Mariah was there with me.
Yeah. Did he say anything to you?
No, he didn't say anything to me, but I saw him and then like literally booked it into like this cabinet pantry area. And I was like crying / like freaking out, and he was like, what the fuck is going on? And I was like, that person out there, his name is so and so, like that was like my cousin for a little bit there, because we're all family.
That's crazy. When you actually told me, I wouldn't have guessed in a million years that you went through something as traumatic as that. And I think I've said this to you before, you carry yourself very well, and I'm so happy that this didn't like turn into something more where you're because a lot of people do have a hard time overcoming a situation like that. I can't even imagine how hard it is. What helped you overcome and mentally overcome this traumatic situation? I know you're not over it yet. But what has helped you?
Well, I will say that you're not the only you're not the only person that said that they like literally did not know that this happened to me. Like when I posted my story, someone had commented or messaged me and was like, dude, I did not know about this. Like, you are so like happy-go-lucky, like you nothing. And I was like, what the fuck? Yeah. So anyways, I just feel like because I didn't dwell on it, and I kind of like, it's in the back of my mind, it has happened. The people who know about it don't ask questions just because they know about it. Like, I have another friend who was my friend during all of this, and she doesn't ask me questions about it. Like, she knows what happened. Like, sometimes she'll ask questions, like if we're ever like drinking and she's just curious. But it doesn't affect me at all or anything. But I just feel like that because I was able to kind of sort of go through it in my own weird way.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I feel like I still had a normal life.
Yeah.
I still went through like all the process of like going through middle school, high school. I would say that maybe I kind of like stayed around with my first boyfriend, my high school boyfriend, more so because he knew about my story and he knew about everything that went on. Like, he knew my stepdad. So I felt comfortable in a sense where I didn't have to talk about it. Like, I didn't have to say anything. And like, I knew his mom, and like, I knew like some of his family, like just because like my mom worked with his mom. And so it was just like, oh, just normal, we don't have to talk about it.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So
how supportive has because Connor knows as well, right? How supportive has he been? Does he like avoid situations with you because he knows it will trigger you, or it's just, is it the same thing as like your first boyfriend? Like, it's just normal, you guys don't have to talk about it?
Yeah, I would say like it's just normal. Like,
Normal.
we don't really talk about it. Like, the first time I did talk about it with him was literally so we had the day that I met him, and I went home with him. Then the first date, right? So I went home with him that night.
And you fucked. We
Yes.
heard that.
And then the third day, we went to a bar and we had a couple beers. We might have had like French fries or something. Like, it was just kind of like a hangover thing. And so we went to a bar, and I don't remember exactly how it came up. I think he had asked like if I had any secrets or something like that. And so I was like, well, you're not going to like me after this, so I don't fucking care. And so then I told him like what happened, like everything that happened. I was like, it's on the table now. Like, about it. There it is.
That right there, what you just said, what you told him, you're not going to like me after this. Why do you think that?
Because of society and how everyone says that they were raped, and everyone says like this, that, whatever. And in situations like mine, like obviously it was true, but like, not, like, that's kind of mean. Like, it's true, but in other situations, especially coming from like a military standpoint, is that people cry wolf. Like, girls will, just so that they can get the money from their ex-husband because they were raped or whatever, like, it's just, I just feel like there's a lot of people that cry wolf and kind of put this bad like stigma on girls who are raped. Or even at college, you're drinking and you're like, oh my God, I regret like having sex with this person, so I'm gonna say they raped.
It's like real survivors can't really share their story, or they're afraid to share their story for looking a certain way. Oh, she's just saying that to get money. Oh, she really didn't go through that. And I feel so bad for people like yourself who've experienced such a traumatic situation and can't really voice your true self and your story because there's people out there playing with those situations. It sickens me. It really does.
But I knew that I would have to tell him at some point if I wanted to like be with him. And so when he said like, no, like, you're not gonna scare me away, you're not gonna whatever, like,
I love Connor.
And so I told him. And then funny story is that when he had the receipt and he paid for it or whatever. And you know how you get 2 receipts? One's yours, one's the, and he wrote, "You're cute." And he wrote like dash plaid guy. I still have it. Although Mason, when he was a puppy, took a bite out of it. But now it's Mason's memory. But he stuck it in my coat, and I didn't know he did that until I literally got back to like my apartment, and I was like, he was like, "Oh, did you look in your pocket, like in your coat?" And I was like, "What?" And so then I saw it, and I was like,
"Oh my God, that's so cute."
Yeah.
I love that for you. Okay, so let's see. If you were face to face with your stepdad, what would you tell him?
Well, he's dead, so I don't fucking care.
He's dead already? So he didn't
Died.
survive?
Yeah, he died like literally when I got to Washington. My grandfather messaged me on Facebook and was like, sent me the little docket of it. And I was like, fucking
A. How did he die?
It doesn't say.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he was in jail.
Mhm.
He did go to jail for until I technically was supposed to be 17, but I think he got out early. I think I was like 15 or 16 when he got out. When he did get out, though, I was kind of nervous. Like technically there was a restraining order. There was a restraining order from like literally day one that he could not come near me for like 100 feet.
Yeah.
And so, which I honestly don't think I saw him at all. But I did have dreams.
That is so creepy.
But I had dreams that I was like kicking his ass.
Oh.
So it was like not like I wasn't scared or anything. Like I was like literally, you know, those dreams where you like literally feel like you're like punching the air, like
yeah. And it's so like, oh, I want some more. Like,
yeah, but then like you're like feel like you're punching or fighting with somebody, but you're not really.
Yeah.
Like
it's so slow. Like it's not even like full strength.
Yeah. So I would have those types of dreams. And then
it was probably the universe saying like, get your last hit in him. Come on.
Actually, yeah. No, I do weirdly believe in like dreams and like weird stuff like that. But so I would have dreams like that. So then when he was in jail, I was like, oh, we're cool. Like I can do whatever. Like I don't have to like worry about where I'm going or like whatever. Like I don't have to worry, you know? And then when he got out, I was like scared because at that point I was 17, 18. And I was like, oh, what if he's near me? Like, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
Whatever, you know? But then a thought came in where it was like, well, he likes little girls. You're not a little girl anymore. You're 17.
Yeah.
You know? And so, so then at that point I was like, well, you know, like I'm not a little girl anymore. Like, whatever, like maybe he won't.
Yeah.
You know? And then, so yeah, and each time that he was like, so he went to a halfway house, and then like each time my grandfather would get a notification from the, I don't know what to call them. Not the
I don't either.
Like, Supreme Court, like, you know, whatever those people.
Yeah.
And so, so he would get notifications like every time like he either moved from like this location to this location. And so, he got moved to this town in Concord, which was technically like an hour or so away from where I lived. But, you know, when you're at a halfway house, you kind of have to check in, you know, you can't be like out so long. Like if you break the rules, like you get to go back to jail kind of thing. So, so I was like, okay, I still felt safe, like in a sense where even though he was out, like I was like, well, I mean, he's got to go check into like this house at like whatever time. And then I moved to North Carolina, and then I was like, we're good. I'm in North Carolina. And then I changed my last name, and I was like, we're good. He can't find me, you know? And then we moved to Washington, and my grandfather was like, he died. And then, so my grandfather sent me like the screenshot of the notice that he got. It's a legit notice. Like it said, like it's like legit. But I just for some reason felt like, what if he's not really dead? And so I Googled to see like an obituary. And so I had messaged my grandfather and was like, well, there's no obituary. Like, how do I know he's really dead? And then he was like, honey, for you to get an obituary, you have to have family that like care about you. And I was like,
I didn't know that.
well, yeah, because nobody's gonna write an obituary about you if you just die.
Especially if you're a rapist.
Yeah, like think about it. Like,
Yeah.
but I don't think his parents are alive.
Hmm.
I think they're gone.
Well,
I do
then,
creep on the, group on obituaries. And like,
yeah, but you did. So I guess since we can't, what do you have you forgiven him for the situation for yourself? Let's talk about forgiveness.
I don't know. I'm a very forgiving person.
Oh yeah, you are.
I don't think that I've forgiven him. I think I've just ignored it.
Mhm.
Like it's in my mind, but like I don't think about it. I don't
Yeah.
like manifest anything with
Mhm.
it. Like I'm just kind of like, it is what it is.
Yeah. I actually, when we were, I was doing my homework on this and seeing what questions to ask you, I came across this article in Cosmo, and it's actually a rapist and his victim. They go on tour together and they tell their story and how they've grown, how he has grown. And I'm like, that is intense.
So I don't think I would personally do that.
Oh yeah.
But like I do want to say that if this has happened with him with his niece.
I was gonna ask you, so yeah, you're not were you the only victim?
Yeah,
So
so
it
the
was
only
you
one that
and
I
his-
know. Yeah, so the only one that I know of is that when my story came out, and he was going through all of that, she came out and said like her story. I don't know exactly what it was or if she went into detail about it, but she just said like she was. And then
that is
I
disgusting.
don't know if anything came of it though, because I think it was too far gone
Ugh,
for them, I think.
yeah.
Yeah, that happened.
Wow.
So
Okay.
I'm not the only one. It was his own family member, but like,
That's
so I don't know if there was
disgusting.
anybody else.
That
To
is
my
so
knowledge, it was
sad.
just the two of us. Yeah.
That's kind of scary knowing, what if, he's done this to more. But I'm glad, he's not alive anymore, I never wish death on anyone. I really don't. But
Me neither,
rapists
but
are on top of my list.
I was
Um,
with Mariah when I got the message too, and I was like, oh, and I told her about it.
Celebrate.
Yeah.
Okay, my last question, and then we'll finish up. What suggestions do you have to make to make it safer for survivors to come forward? I know because a lot of people have a hard time coming forward. Like that is, and like you said, because of other people and how
I would say that if whoever said it, whoever was talking about it, whoever went to the guidance counselor, whoever, I don't know like what happened. I don't know if they just overheard like people talking about it, or I don't know if somebody actually like went up to them and said something. But I would say that if nobody ever said anything, it would probably like continue to happen. I don't know if I would ever say anything.
Oh my God, that makes me so sad.
But like I don't know, like maybe if I don't know, like maybe if I had a friend who was there for me during that period, like if it was like Mariah or something, she would tell me to like, you need to say something.
Yeah.
But like the friend group that I honestly, I didn't really have, like I had friends, but I feel like I had trouble staying friends with like girlfriends. Like I feel like I felt more comfortable having like my boyfriend, because in the 6th grade I did date someone for like 8 months, which is a long time for 6th grade.
That is.
But
That
like
is.
so So I did date somebody for like 8 months, and then that's when I found my high school boyfriend, which technically is middle school, because when I got to the 7th grade was when he was in the 6th grade, and then that's when I kind of was like, okay, I don't like this person anymore than I'm like, I like this person, you know, middle school.
Yeah.
So that it just kind of stuck from there. But I think that it stuck from there because one, I felt comfortable with him because I didn't have to talk about my story. And then two, because like, I don't know, like I just would rather like hang out with him than hang out with girls. They were just so like catty, and at least the girls that I was hanging out with.
Well, so when you were telling these girls, your friends, the story, they were like applauding you? Were they like, oh yeah, that's cool?
So I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't think they were. I think they're also young like me, like they don't know anything. They just, you know. And then at that point when we got into the 6th grade, that was when we were introduced with like the 7th graders and the 8th graders, and they're all like they're like mature and starting to do like sexual things. So it kind of was like somewhat normal. Like I had one friend who dated a freshman, and so I was like, oh, I guess age like doesn't matter or whatever, you know, like because it's just weird. And she was like doing things with him and whatnot, and so like I don't know, I just like I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly what they said. I just like remember talking about it, and then I don't know. I don't really remember. Honestly.
Yeah. Well, I do want to thank you for sharing and being so strong and sharing this story.
It was a little awkward at first. I apologize, everyone. It was a little awkward.
Honestly, it's hard. It's hard. I mean, I've never gone through anything that traumatic, and I'm glad I've never been through something like that. So I can't imagine like how hard it is to even share that story. But for those who are struggling to share their story or don't know where to start or who to speak to, there is help available. You can call the National Sexual Assault Hotline. That is 1-800-656-4673. I do want to put that out there because if you are feeling like you can't speak to someone, we're here, we hear you, we see you, you guys can talk to us. But if you want to talk to someone with, you know, more professional experience, you can definitely contact me.
I will also say that if I had the core friend group that I have now, like if I had you, had Mariah, like had like, you know, the people that I do have around me, I feel like I would have been able to get through it.
Yeah.
Like on my own. But I feel like because I was so young and so immature and so just like lack of anything going on.
Yeah.
That like it was just different.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And I love you. Oh, I love this. This was really good. I'm happy we went through it.
Me too.
You especially, I bet. You're like, oh, thank God.
I know. I didn't even get to like explain my whole blog post.
Well,
anyways, that's okay. I can share. I can like post it somewhere.
Thank you for listening. Leave us a comment. See you next Wednesday.